Live on Facebook too?
No.
Almost. Awesome. Well, we'll get started in just a couple of minutes. Some good hip openers and low back releasers will do us some service because stuff is snug. Just something really quick. So if you don't already have some nice relaxing music on in the background, I would suggest to do that. We're not adding any music right now so that our videos don't get muted. So whatever, makes you feel chill and relaxed and just kind of neutral. Let's take one more minute and then we'll jump in. So don't forget to make yourself comfortable. Also, if you have a block, grab it. If you don't have a block, then like a pillow or a blanket or like a rolled up towel can also be nice for today. We don't have anything specific to use it with. That being said, sometimes we get into postures and we're like, huh? So you may want to grab, like one or two pillows or rolled up towels or something like that, just in case there's something that, you feel like you need for it. It's good to have. If you don't use it, no big deal, right? But if you don't have it and then you really wish you did, it's distracting. So better to kind of just have it accessible to you, and then if you don't need it, there it goes. But okay, so it looks like we'll go ahead and get started. So welcome, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. We're gonna roll through about an hour's worth of yin yoga. We're gonna do the practice focusing on opening up the low back and your hips. So if you are feeling a little bit of that tension from just sitting for a long period, any props or any things that you want to add with you, take a quick moment to do that, and we're gonna begin on our backs. So take a moment to lay back. Nice and easy, right? Relax your head. You can open up your arms. Let your feet fall out towards the side. And just start by closing your eyes and lengthening your breath. For just a few breaths here at the beginning of your practice, make them a little longer, a little fuller, and a little deeper. When it comes to yin yoga, as much as there is this very large element of relaxation, there is sometimes these moments of sort of uncomfortability, and a lot of sensation can come up, especially because we hold the postures for so long. So if you start to notice a ton of sensation, you can always readjust. I would just invite you, though, to notice if that uncomfortable sensation is worth it, in the sense of, sometimes it's just uncomfortable and we just don't like it. And sometimes it's uncomfortable, but it's really worth something to stay here longer. Or if it's something more like, this really doesn't feel right in my body, I really need to make an adjustment. And it's a really fine line that, of course, that it's just like, oh man, this is uncomfortable, I just want to get out. See if you can stay in one more breath. You never know what could happen in one breath. Come back to your breath. Come back to this moment. Take 3 more breaths here. Just gentle and at your pace. 2 more. And then 1 more. Big breath in. And a really relaxed breath out. Let it feel morning style stretch. And then take your right hand over to the right corner of your mat. Let your head go with you and take your left hand to the left corner. So you can actually use the right hand to grab onto the left and take a little bit of a side stretch. And then once you kind of find that sweet spot, you can relax your arms and then go for the bottom half of your body, but keep your hips in the center of your mat. So right foot goes to the right and then left foot follows. So it can follow right by the right and stay there. That might be enough sensation, but if your body's asking for a little bit more, you might slide the left foot on top of your right. Roll your left shoulder down and then start to breathe. Long, slow, steady breaths. We hold the postures for a little longer here, and so we'll be here for about 4 or 5 minutes. Start to take the time to notice. Really check in with your body here. This practice is really efficient in bringing your attention in and slowing down. So see if you can slowly, right? It doesn't happen in a moment. Slowly start to set the day down. Close the laptop, close the lists, and really just use this next hour to be with your body, be with your breath, be with you. This next hour is exactly what you need. Exactly what you want inside of this hour. Stay connected to the sensation in your body. Can you find its epicenter and follow it? Does it stretch up into the shoulder? Does it travel down to the ankle? It doesn't have to go anywhere in particular. Just see where it travels in your body. Get really in tune with how your body stretches, how it functions, how it feels. Two more minutes here. Closing out your final minute. Come back to your breath.
Good.
And then nice and slow, take your left hand back to the center of your mat. Your head follows and so does your right hand. Taking your time, left foot to the center of your mat, right foot follows. Take a big breath in, stretch your fingers, stretch your toes, and then shift it off towards the left. So left hand towards the left corner of your mat, right hand follows, left foot, and then right foot. And you might cross or you might just bring it by your side. Bring the legs side by side rather. And then again, you can kind of give your right hand or wrist a little bit of a tug and pull the right side over a little bit. So make little adjustments and then see if you can kind of settle in. Trying to only move, readjust, or settle if you really have to. See if you can just notice what kind of steps. So what comes up, what happens. Beyond creating space in the body, this practice allows us to get in connection, in this kind of understanding, excuse me, of how your body really functions, how it works, its innate kind of abilities. And the more you pay attention to your body, the more you'll start to realize how amazing it is. Just closing out that final minute here. Keep your breaths long and full. Just a few more breaths. Inhale and slowly start to back yourself out. Right hand comes to the center of your mat, and then your left, right foot, and then your left. Give yourself one more of those big good morning stretches. Stretch to your fingertips, stretch to your toes. And then on your exhale, release your arms by your side. Inhale, lift your right leg straight up. And you'll take this moment to grab above or below the knee. So you can take the grip really high or a little bit lower. And you'll just take your grip and then pull in. So nice and slow. You can flex the foot, which will increase some sensation through your hamstrings and the backside of your leg, or you can point your toes. So this way you're just releasing your hamstrings, which oftentimes they can get pretty snug. And when they're snug, they tend to pull on the low back. So we're just giving a little space here. Relax your upper body down. So notice if your shoulders kind of creep up towards your ears. Let the left leg really relax. But also take a peek down the center line of your body. Sometimes when the hips are tight, the left leg will kind of want to roll out to the left, just opening up the space a little bit. So see if you can keep your left heel in line with your hip and just kind of notice that sensation of change that happens just from that little minor adjustment. And that way you're working your hips on a little bit more of a hip width distance, on a little bit more of like a railroad track. And it's just another way to balance the hips. Big breaths here. Just got 2 more minutes. Like even while there's sensation in the back of your leg, can you notice your low back kind of start to relax and melt down to the floor? See if you can find that element of ease, of relaxation, of a little bit of comfort, even as you feel sensation through your hamstrings or your calf muscle, even into the hip crease. The more you pay attention to it, the more relaxed you can start to feel. And just your final minute here. Inhale another big breath, and on your exhale, bend at your right knee. Take your left hand on the outside of your right leg and gently pull your right leg across your body. Add a twist. So supine twist, look over your right shoulder. You can goalpost or even tee out your arm if you have enough space. And the right foot or knee does not have to touch the floor. Like, my low back is bothering me today, it's not going to happen. So some days it might be really open and there might be the space. Other days things might be a little tighter. And so just take it in stride. Don't try not to force the body into a position, especially when it comes to yin, because we're here for so long, your body will start to let go. It really, really will. So let gravity do the work a little bit for you. You can take your left hand and just gently place it on the outside of the right thigh, and that will just give a little bit of weight to help press it down. And then look over your right shoulder and find your long, steady breaths again. We're here for just about 2 minutes. No force, just gravity. Just finishing out that final minute here. And then nice and slow, inhale yourself back through center, pull your right knee in, and then stretch your right leg long. Take it slow. Be just what's comfortable for you. And again, notice if the right leg in this case rolls kind of off to the side. See if you can pull it back into center and then pull your left leg towards you. So there's a little bit of arm strength in this one, but see if you can kind of relax the rest of the body. Start to use that. Your final minute here. Just a couple more deep breaths. Then on your next, your left leg across your body. Look over your left shoulder this time with a teed out arm or goalpost, whatever feels better. And then again, try not to force the left leg down like you're wrenching it. Just, release your right hand on top of your left leg. You can give it a little bit of an encouragement, right? But you don't want to push it off a cliff. And then we'll come back to those 2 minutes here. So one final minute here. And then big breath in, come back through center. And release your left leg long. Let that settle in for a breath in and a breath out. And inhale, bend at your knees and pull your knees in towards your chest, and you can roll off to your right or to your left, coming into a kind of fetal position. Make a little pillow with your arm and just take a moment. And from here, you'll press through your top hand and push the floor away. And then come sitting up. So come sitting up nice and tall. We're going to start with a just traditional Baddha Konasana, a butterfly. So bring the soles of your feet together, and you can pull your heels in nice and close, sit up tall. You can kind of rock back and forth until you sort of find your sweet spot. Go a little bit on a diagonal because I think that'll be nicer for everyone. And then take a nice big breath in, stretch up tall. First one, just lean forward with a flat back. So stretch your collarbones forward. You'll get an opportunity to kind of really round down in just a moment, but start by getting as long as you can. And then press your chest forward. And you can use a little bit of the help of your elbows. So as you kind of lean forward, you can press some weight into the inner thighs through your forearms and elbows. And then let it go. Once you kind of feel like you've got as much length as you possibly can, and then you can release your head, neck, and shoulders. So if you have a pillow or if you have a block, you can use that to kind of let your forehead relax onto it. If you have a pillow, you can just kind of relax, roll it up, and kind of relax onto it that way too. But take a moment to get as comfortable as you can in this posture. We'll be here for a little while, so let it feel good. Keep coming back to your breath, and the longer you're here, the more you may have to readjust in order to let your body sink a little deeper. So if you need to find depth, allow yourself to go there. Allow yourself to really be comfortable being a little bit uncomfortable. Not that it's always super duper uncomfortable, but sometimes it's just a little tension, a little achy, and the longer you're there, the more your body will start to let go. And especially important that you're breathing, because your breath is really going to be the ticket to getting your body to start to let go. Otherwise, you'll just keep holding on because your body's really protecting itself. And especially right now, we're in just kind of this high stress time, and our bodies are just like holding on to stuff, especially if we start to let, fear get really big or our head get really stressed with just stuff. The body will start to hold on to that. And so then tension will kind of build even bigger. So use this time, right, to really start to relax, to really come back to your breath. Keep giving your body your own attention. All of that other stuff, it's going to be there. Like, you can come back to it. Let this be more important than that. Just final 2 minutes here. Just closing out your last 30 seconds or so. And then nice and slow, really, really take your time. Start to back out. You can move your pillow or any props you might have used. And then you'll keep your feet the way they are. Just slide them away from your body pretty far till the feet kind of want to open up. And you can keep going. So you have this really nice big diamond shape, okay? If you have sensitive knees, or if your hips are, you would describe them as exceptionally tight, then this might feel like sensation on the knees because this is a big hip opener. So if you start to feel sensation on the knees and you have any props next to you, just place them underneath, right? Little towel, kind of rolled up pillow or something to kind of take some of that pressure off, okay? So take it as far as you like. Again, you can use a little block or prop or something for you to rest on, but lengthen up nice and tall so you can kind of push your hips back so you get that posterior tilt. Because when we're sitting all day, the hips are tucked in round and under, and you're just pulling on the low back for however many hours or time that you're at your desk. So here's where we're kind of reversing that. And it might be a little achy. It's all right. We're going to work through the ache. We're going to work through the tension. So get adjustments. You might feel something you need to move into right away, or move into it, and then see if you can stay. We'll be here for a pretty good amount of time too, a little closer to that 5-minute mark. So big breaths, lots of patience. The longer you're here, see if you can start to think about pushing the hips back, getting the pelvis to kind of tip back and up. And just notice it's that kind of sensational change. You can let it go if it doesn't start to feel right, but see if you can just start to create some mobility where you could push the hips back, find a really big posterior tilt, or round them forward and tuck under and find that anterior tilt. And the more malleability that you can create, the less likely you will be able to hold on and hang on to tension for a really long time. Not that it will keep you from ever being tight ever, but your ability to be able to access relief becomes much more efficient. So last minute and a half. So your last 30 seconds here. See if you can stay and breathe. Embrace whatever sensations have come up. Notice what's happening in your mind. Right? Is your mind telling you, get up, get up, get out? Or is it saying, stay, stay, stay? So you can choose what feels respectful of where you want to take your body. Sometimes the body just kind of self-sabotages a little bit. Or the mind, rather, not the body, the mind. All right, nice and slow. We're gonna start to back it out. Take your time, right? Especially if it starts to feel tender, like no rush. Heel into the midline of your body. So have a little half diamond shape. And then simply fold forward over your left heel. So again, you can use your block or a pillow or your towel or whatever you've kind of got and let yourself come down. Maybe a little higher, maybe a little lower. And once you kind of find that spot you're looking for, dive on it. You guys know your body's best. So if something doesn't feel right, please adjust, move accordingly. Dive in and hold. Last 2 minutes here. Long, slow breaths. Some of the tension held in the body, it doesn't happen overnight, Sometimes that tension is built up over lifetime of just particular habits, moving in certain ways. So if it feels challenging to get into, if you feel like it's taking a while to open up, remember that it probably took a while to get there too. So be patient with the process. Your body will open. Your body will create space. It just takes time. It takes concentrated effort. It takes habit of showing up. Showing up's not always easy. Showing up is, though, very much worth it. Just 3 more breaths here. 3. 2. 1 more. And then nice and slow. Start to back your way out. Again, really, really take your time, especially if your low back is feeling sensitive today. Remove any props you may have used, and then take your left foot back out to meet your right. So you even yourself back out. You kind of know where the right leg was. And then you'll do the same thing on the right. Pull your right heel into your midline. Straighten up. Fold forward over your right heel. Every side's going to feel a little different. This side might offer you more space, might offer you less space, more sensation, less sensation. I think the best thing when it comes to each side being different is just kind of take note of that, because the more you pay attention, the more you'll be able to, one, know sometimes stuff happens to our bodies simply because we just are so incredibly busy. We're just going from one thing to the other that we don't realize what we're doing. We don't realize habitual patterns or just normal day-to-day life. And then we wake up one day and our low back hurts so bad. And we just don't know where it came from. But then we go take a yoga class and expect it to be better in one day, even though that habit was created over years of driving in a car or sitting in a desk or doing this thing or that thing, right? And so I think we just need to exercise a little bit of patience with ourselves too. Because man, this takes time. Your last 2 minutes here. Closing out your final minute. In just 30 seconds. Notice your breath. Notice the sensation. All right, and then nice and slow. Start to back your way out. Take your time, slow and steady. Come sitting all the way up. And then you can lift your legs up, but open up your feet nice and wide. So setting up for a full straddle, You can open up your feet much wider than your hips, as wide as you can go. There's a couple of things, especially if we are driving or sitting or behind a desk, those kinds of things. That kind of anterior tilt of the pelvis kind of tilts under, and so it makes this posture just kind of challenging to get into. There's a couple of things that you can do. One, if you have a block, you can sit on it. You'll sit on the block, and this will just give you a little bit more leverage so you can lean a little bit more forward. If you don't have a block, but you have like a towel or a pillow, just a little something to kind of prop up the hips, and then that weight will start to allow you to kind of rock forward. So take whichever kind of adjustment you feel like you need. You'll take your feet nice and wide. Again, you're going to work to get the hips to tilt back, and then slowly with a straight spine, fold yourself forward as far as you go. Now, do your best to keep a little bit of flex in your foot. I find that just keeps a little stability on the knee. You can play with it a little bit, right? Your body, your rules. You got a preference on that. You can work that preference, of course. But then once you've kind of found your sweet spot, go ahead and settle in, relax forward to your forearms, to your pillow, to whatever you're kind of using, and then go back to your breath. Find that little bit of length. Your last 2 minutes here. And then your final minute. See if you can get your upper body to relax even more towards the floor. Let your hips push back. Just closing it out with 3 more breaths here. 3. 2. 1 more, make it the deepest, the longest. And then nice and slow on your next inhale, start to walk yourself back up. Come sitting all the way up, and if you usually slide your feet back to the center. Take a moment to sit up nice and tall with a nice big bend in your knees, and then start to fold yourself forward over your legs. So you can bend your knees a lot if you need to. And then give yourself a little bit of a hug and let your head be caught by your knees. And just we're gonna take like 3 breaths here. 2. And then one last one. And nice and slow, sit yourself up. You can step your feet out a little bit and you'll come laying all the way back on your back. Bend at your knees, stack your knees over your heels, and then pick up your right foot and cross it over your left. We're gonna set up for twisted roots. So you can either goalpost or tee off towards the left. Look over your right shoulder. Just resetting your spine here at the end of your practice. Long, steady breaths. Closing out your final minute on this side. Just finish off with 3 long, steady breaths. Full breath in. And then a big breath out. Again, breathe deep. Really good for the digestive system, good for relieving toxins out of the body. 1 more. And then let it go. Nice and slow, you'll start to bring yourself back through center. So pull your knees back through the center line of your body. You can uncross your feet and realign your hips and shoulders. And then place your right foot down and take your left foot on top of your right. Drive through your right foot to pick up your hips. Shift your hips off towards the left. This time, pull your knees into your chest and let your knees fall off towards the right. Look over your left shoulder. It's here for a couple more minutes. Gently resetting your spine. Opening up a little bit of space through your thoracic spine, right through the center line of the body. You twist right through the digestive system, which twists are known to be really good for helping the digestive system work normally and digest properly. And since stress can often happen in the digestive system, it's really important that we integrate twists into our practice, not only to reset the spine, but also to relieve that kind of tension that gets built up in the digestive system when we are placed in stressful states. So use this to not only release your body in that physical sensation where you feel it muscularly, but also where your body starts to release tension that gets held kind of secretly, let's say. in the digestive systems and the gut. It's finishing out about 30 more seconds. It's maybe 3 or 4 really long, full, deep breaths. And so dive into your breath being a little longer, a little fuller, a little deeper. Just a couple more here. And then slowly bring yourself back through center. You can uncross at your feet, realign your hips with your shoulders, and give your knees a little squeeze into your chest and just a little rock from side to side. Just kind of massages your low back a little bit here and releases some tension. And then when you're ready, stretch your legs long. You can open up your feet about mat width distance and maybe your arms a little wider than your mat and your hips. Palms can face up, palms can face down. And just seal your practice off here with a little bit of stillness. Close your eyes and allow yourself to settle in. Go. Release through your knees and then your hamstrings and your hips. Notice the sensation and engagement through your quadriceps and see if even that can start to let go. Back, middle back, upper back. With another exhale, tension starts to melt from your body and shoulders sink away from your ears. Notice your arms. And the weight of your elbow, you start to notice even your neck let go, scalp, forehead, eyebrows, and eyelids. Let go through your mouth. Let your tongue fall from the roof of your mouth, your lips softly part. For just a moment, let tension be absent from your body and your mind. As you notice the weight of your body into the floor, memorize this feeling. Feel free to rest here. Take your time being here for as long as feels good. Thank you all so much for joining me over this last hour or so of practice. It has been my privilege and my pleasure. If there's things that you want to see or you have questions for us, feel free to comment or direct message to our YouTube channel, our Facebook, or Instagram. Keep us in your thoughts and in the loop. And